Hello, language explorers. You know how sometimes, well, you just stumble over a word or phrase in English? We all do it. Today, on the Deep Dive, we're looking at your source, Sound Scribbler, Common English Mistakes and Fixes. We want to turn those slightly awkward uh-oh moments into real aha moments for you. Our goal isn't just, pointing out mistakes. It's about understanding why they happen so you can speak with more confidence.
Absolutely. And understanding that why is so important. These aren't just tiny slips. Sometimes even subtle errors can really cloud your meaning, maybe lead to misunderstandings. Getting to grips with these common issues is honestly key for clear communication and, yeah, boosting that confidence.
Couldn't agree more. So let's dive into the first nugget from Sound Scribbler. This one trips up so many people. It's about verb conjugation, specifically with he, she, and it. How often do we hear something like, he do homework every day?
Oh, it's incredibly common, isn't it? The correct way, of course, is he does homework every day.
Hmm.
I think part of it is, well, maybe our brain's trying to keep things simple, or maybe interference from other languages. But English, for the present simple tense, insists on that little es or es for the third person singular. He, she, it. Always does, goes, sees.
That is definitely persistent. And sticking with verbs, another tricky area is the past tense, especially when using did. I've definitely heard people say, I didn't went to school. It sounds a bit off, right?
It does, yeah. The right way is I didn't go to school. What's happening here, essentially, is that did or didn't already carries the past tense meaning. Think of it like did takes the past tense job, so the main verb doesn't need to, it just relaxes in its base form. So after did or didn't, you always use the simple base form. Go, eat, see.
Ah, okay. So did does the heavy lifting for the past tense. That's actually a great way to think about it. Now here's one that feels right in some languages but isn't quite standard English, using agree. The common mistake sounds like, I am agree with you.
And the correct version is just, I agree with you. Sound Scribbler points out this often comes from direct translation. In many languages, you would use a to be verb there, but in English, agree is the verb. It's an action word, like run or think. You don't say, I am run, so you don't say, I am agree. It does the job itself.
That makes perfect sense when you explain it like that. Simple, but easy to overlook. Another small detail, but really important articles. A versus an.
Yeah.
We often hear things like, I have an umbrella.
Yes, a classic. It should be, I have an umbrella. Hey, the rule isn't about the first letter exactly, but the first sound. Use an before vowel sounds, A, E, I, O, U sounds, and A before consonant sounds. That's why we say an hour, right? Because the H is silent. It starts with an ow sound. It just helps the words flow better.
Flow is key, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that actually brings us to a really big one, especially for learners. Direct translation. Sound Scribbler has this great example. Open the light. Maybe from Hindi, light on karo.
Yes. This one is so insightful because it really gets to the heart of sounding natural in English. The correct phrase is, turn on the light. This kind of error shows why just translating word for word often doesn't work. You need to learn the phrase, the idiom, in context. English expresses ideas its own way. You don't have hunger, you are hungry. It's about the overall meaning and how English speakers typically express it, not just swapping words.
Right. It's those idiomatic ways of saying things. So pulling all this together, what are the main takeaways for everyone listening?
Well, Sound Scribbler sums it up nicely. First, really pay attention to those verb forms, especially with hayshite and did. Second, try hard to avoid direct word-for-word translation. Think in English phrases if you can. Which leads to the third point. Focus on learning whole phrases and chunks of language, not just single words or rules in isolation. And finally, maybe the most crucial bit, practice. Say things out loud. That's how you really internalize these corrections.
Great advice. Practice makes perfect, or at least much more natural. So now it's over to you, the listener.
Exactly. The challenge from the source is simple but effective. Think back, right now if you can. Identify maybe 3 sentences you know you've said incorrectly in the past, based on what we discussed. Then, actually practice saying them correctly, out loud. Get the feel for the right way, make it automatic.
Because honestly, getting these small details right isn't just about correctness. It's about unlocking that extra bit of confidence, making your connections clearer in conversations. It really lets your voice, your ideas truly shine through.